Hey everyone, Gill Gross here post-match. Daniil Medvedev versus Hubert Hurkacz, Wimbledon 2021, round of 16. If you're not here for spoilers, click off the video in 3, 2, 1. The number 2 seed has been ousted in 5 sets by Hurkacz, who won just one match between Miami and Wimbledon, and now joins a long list of first-time quarterfinalists at Wimbledon 2021. Hurkacz over Medvedev 2-6, 7-6, 3-6, 6-3, 6-3. I'm going to keep it very simple tactically, and when it comes to Hurkacz, who, by the way, is by all accounts the nicest human being on the face of the earth. The locker room is happy for him. Everyone is happy for him because he is probably an angel. And a big breakthrough from him after struggling, after winning Miami, as I said. Hurkacz loses the first set handedly. 6-2 Medvedev, and it just wasn't close. And in the second set, we saw a major adjustment from him, which is just moving forward. And I don't know if it was a desperation tactic or what, but it was the correct tactic. In set 1, Hurkacz was 3 of 6 at the net. In set 2, he came up there 19 times, went 14 for 19 at net. And from that point on, from set 3, set 4, and then a little bit less so in set 5, he was only 6 for 6. But he started coming forward. I think in set 5, I'll get to it later, but it was... the points were ending very, very quickly, which might have had something to do with it. But overall in the match, Hurkacz goes from 6 net approaches in set 1 to finishing the match 50 for 69 at 72% net points won. Now, it has been a long-standing and well-known option against Daniil Medvedev due to his deep return position and his deep court position in general to try to come forward, to try to come to net. I think even earlier in his career when Medvedev was not as good at dipping the passing shots low and hitting 2-shot passes, it was a play against Medvedev to come to net. And because he doesn't have the topspin to dip the ball below the level of the net, players would get easier, higher volleys, which is where you want them. That was a play early in Medvedev's career. And I think a lot of people have tried to do it. Nadal did it in the U.S. Open final a lot with mostly success, although some key moments where it wasn't successful. But I feel like as players have continued to try to do that against Daniil Medvedev, it has increasingly failed to work. And Medvedev coming up with, again, 2-shot passes, good feel, able to dip the ball below the net, improving his passing shots, running down the next volley, and just kind of burning players who think that that is a surefire way to beat Daniil Medvedev. The question is, first of all, does the low bouncing grass at Wimbledon change all of that? Does the fact that the ball stays as low as it does and skids through the court, does that mean that that strategy, which is not always a winning strategy against Medvedev, becomes a much better strategy on the grass? And that is possible. And you remember with Nadal, Rafa Nadal, who might be the pioneer of the deep return position. And Uncle Tony always had him move up at Wimbledon. And sometimes Rafa didn't even like it. I think it might have been a point of contention at times. But Uncle Tony always had Rafa move up because he was sure, Uncle Tony was sure, that on the low bouncing grass, you were not going to get away with that deep return position. And players were going to hit good angled spot serves out wide, and they were going to get to net. And Gilles Muller did that probably better than anyone when he upset Nadal. Nadal playing pretty well in that match, but Muller still winning. I forget what year that was, but when Muller beat Nadal, it was one of the key kind of scenarios where Nadal actually stayed back there. He didn't move up. He stayed back, and Muller took advantage. So Hurkacz kind of executed the spam the net approaches, hit wide serves, approach shots on every short ball, get up to net, and it worked really, really well. But I just want to emphasize, it's not just the game plan. It's not just deciding to do that. It's also in the execution and the feel that Hurkacz has on his approach shots. He's got great hands in the midcourt, and he seems to keep the ball very deep and very low, hits very precise. And then I loved his first volleys. The modern volley in men's tennis is the drop volley. You have powerful approach shots with players well behind the baseline, or that force players well behind the baseline, and then you hit that drop volley to try to finish the point. That's the modern volley. That's what players are doing. And Hurkacz didn't really do that. He hit kind of the low midcourt volley, landing around the service line, skidding low through the court. It's not really a drop volley that gives Medvedev time to use his legs and use his speed to get up to the ball. It's kind of the two-part volley. Stick it, let it skid through the court super low, move Medvedev inside the court if it's not a clean winner to try to hit that almost impossible second pass, and then I can punch it past Medvedev once his court position is vulnerable inside the court. I love the way Medvedev was volleying like it was the 80s. And Hubie has great volleys and doesn't always use them that much. But this just brings into focus the importance of having a well-rounded skill set, of having multiple plans. Hurkacz is not a net rusher. He is not Feliciano Lopez. He is not Alex de Minaur on grass. He's not even Roger Federer. He's not PH Herbert. He is none of those players. He is often a pure baseliner, but he's always had the volleys. Always. It's been always very apparent to even me, who does not watch all of his matches, but very apparent. So just to have that in the bag, to make it so that, okay, I'm getting destroyed in the first set, I'm losing 6-2, let me try to really spam the net rushing and maybe it'll work. The fact that it can work for him is a testament to his well-rounded game and his skill building. The fact that he has great volleys and great approach shots is the key there. And the way he keeps the ball low on his approach shots, I think, exacerbates the Medvedev court position conundrum. And by the way, well, I think I already covered it with the flat hitting. Medvedev also being a flat hitter makes it even harder for him to hit passing shots from a low contact point. And then you talk about deep court position, low contact point. Forget about it. Very difficult for Daniil, even though I think he's improved his passing shots immensely. So well done for Hurkacz, well executed game plan, and he comes through. But now let's talk from a Medvedev perspective, and now what comes into play is some of the strange circumstances that occurred with this match. Daniil Medvedev did not face a break point for 3.5 sets, and he was rolling in this match on his service games to such a great extent that even after losing the final two sets 6-3, 6-3, Daniil Medvedev finishes the match with 5 more points, total points won, than Hubert Hurkacz. Tennis, maniacal scoring system, he loses the match. That's how it works. But just to illustrate how well he was kind of playing in this match, that in the first, even after being pretty much dominated in the 5th set, it's a dominant 6-3 loss. Medvedev was never in a Hurkacz service game. Dominated in the 5th set and outplayed thoroughly when they came back in the 4th set. Still, Medvedev had such a cushion in total points won that Hurkacz actually never made it up. And Medvedev did not face a single break point for 3.5 sets here. They come back after it rains, and this match was on court 3. And the organizers decide, first of all, there was an interruption already, so the match would have changed no matter what. But the organizers consult with the players. Daniil Medvedev had no problem with the scheduling decision, and I don't know what Hurkacz, I haven't seen his transcript, but clearly Medvedev said yes. He was consulted, and the decision was made to continue tomorrow, which was a decision that the Medvedev camp was okay with because they didn't know when the match on center, when the Federer match, which was 5-all in the first set, they didn't know when that match would finish. So that could have been a situation where they were up super late, and then maybe, let's say the Federer match went really long. Now they could have gone up against the curfew. The Federer match ended up not going long, but that would have been a mess. That would have been start, stop, 11 p.m. curfew, come back, nightmare. So it makes sense that the players were okay with having it rescheduled on center court the next day. But there's no way around it. Medvedev didn't show up here. He didn't have it. He didn't have it. He took the court, just didn't have the game. Made 12 unforced errors in the fifth set. Hurkacz made one. Just not finding the range on his return, regardless of his court position, just not making it. Double faulting a ton on the way in key spots. 2 key double faults when he came back in the fourth set. He had not double faulted all match except one in the second set. Just didn't have it. And we're talking about 1 hour of tennis here. So we could make broad, sweeping conclusions about Medvedev and the things he needs to adjust on grass court, and does he need to make the Uncle Tony adjustment and move up because it's grass? We could do those things, and there's probably a little bit of truth for those things, especially considering the fact that he was down 2-0 against Marin Cilic when Marin was playing well, and then Marin stopped playing well. So there's two sides of the coin. Are those adjustments really worthy and worth considering? Yes, and I'm fascinated to see if he would have moved up against Federer, who is a great spot server and a great net player. Obviously, a great transition game. So I was preparing to actually change my pick and pick Roger in that match, because I would have needed to see Medvedev play a lot differently when it comes to his positioning. I don't know. You guys can take me at my word, or you can say, Gill, you're full of it. But I was preparing to probably change my pick there because I had Medvedev pre-tournament beating Federer in that match. But it would have been interesting to see if he adjusted or if he didn't. But we won't see that, obviously, because Hurkacz had other ideas. So now it's about, will that adjustment come next season on the grass? Does it need to come? There's an argument both ways. There's an argument to be made. It's an hour of tennis. We shouldn't overreact. He just didn't have it. It's a weird situation. It happens. Funky, freak thing. Hurkacz played great. Tremendous game plan. One of the players in a uniquely situated to execute that game plan, because most players do not volley as well as Hurkacz, do not hit approach shots as well as Hurkacz, and you have a low bouncing surface, and Hubert is volleying in a manner and hitting approach shots in a manner that fully take advantage of that surface. So a perfect storm. Medvedev out, Federer Hurkacz in the quarterfinal. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.